some context question. Do you trust Ruth Bader Ginsburg as a source? Former Supreme Court Judge Ruth Bader Ginsburg, a pioneer.
What could you possibly be talking about next? Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of Bleat This. It is a Westchester University podcast ran by students, for students, and maybe more. I am your host, Luke Guilday.
I'm your other host, Hickey.
And today, we're going to talk about just a normal debate question, if you will. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Now, our goal with this podcast is to have each episode about a different silly little topic or debate conversation. So, I believe that a hot dog is not a sandwich, but my opponent here, my friend, so to speak, thinks that a hot dog is a sandwich.
Yeah, I think it's a sandwich because it is.
So, and we'll get to that, is the crazy thing, and we'll get to that. So, watch this episode, right? See if your opinion aligns with either one of us and decide who do you think ultimately won this debate today. And with that, I think we should begin. Now, Ty, I'm going to be cordial with this, even though I disagree wholeheartedly with your opinion on this, but I will let you go first in this debate topic, okay? So why do you think a hot dog is a sandwich?
So it's got bread and it has meat in the middle. That's usually the go-to, recipe for a sandwich.
Uh-huh.
I think very simply you can definitely categorize it as a sandwich. I don't know what else you'd call it if not a sandwich.
Sure. I mean, but here's the thing though, right? Like, there are other things that have, like, bread and meat or whatever, So, like, at that point, like, well, I guess this is already stretching it too far. Like, think about it. Like, is a pepperoni is like a long pepperoni or a long sausage close to a hot dog, right? But if you're putting that on pizza, for example, which is bread, like, no one's going to see that and say that's a sandwich, So, like, is it just the ingredients of it that really
No,
matter?
I would agree with you there. A pizza would not be a sandwich because there's only one side that's breads.
Yeah.
A hot dog has bread on both sides. That's a pretty important detail.
I mean, I know that some people, and I disagree with this, I know that some people will, they'll put two slices of pizza together and then call that a sandwich. That's honestly, I think, sacrilegious, if we're being honest with ourselves.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd put two pizzas on top of each other. That's just two pizzas at that point.
I don't know. I feel like it's just too much, but I'm sorry. I'm going to continue. I didn't mean to interrupt. You had a topic going.
So rude of you. But yeah, hot dog's a sandwich because it's got the middle of a sandwich and it's got bread on either side. And just because it's like a vertical sandwich rather than a horizontal sandwich like a hoagie is, that doesn't mean it's not a sandwich. Because hoagies, it's the same thing as a hot dog. It's just over and it's got different ingredients inside of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. You're still wrong. I'm sorry to have to break that to you, but you're still incorrect. I think the one thing for me that's like really fully like that just does it for me is that, like, when you have like a hot dog bun, right? It's not like two slices of bread. It's one. Now I know that's the same with like a hoagie or like a meatball sub or whatever like that, where it's like, it's not two slices of bread, it's like a boat of bread. It's a bread boat, if you will. And yeah, like, so people will say, well, like, a sub's not a sandwich then, because of that being the case, of like, it's not two slices of bread, at least in my opinion, And that kind of goes along with, like, it goes even outside of, this of, like, well, is a taco a sandwich? No, it's not. So maybe a hot dog is more closer to a taco. But even that I don't like because it's a hot dog. I think it's just its own thing. It's its own thing.
So you just don't want to categorize a hot dog because you're a coward.
No,
you can't make the controversial decision there, I see.
So so you're putting words into my mouth, right? And that is upsetting. Quite frankly, that's really upsetting. But no, actually, it is just a normal hot dog, right? Okay, imagine, if you will, close your eyes for a second, and imagine, if you will, you're in the great city. So that is the opposite of what you. Fair enough. All right, that is quite literally the opposit. But
for people that aren't watching any video of it, I just stared right into his soul.
I didn't like that. There you go. So imagine, if you will, you're in the great city of Chicago, and you're at the big sports game, right? Baseball, I'd imagine, and you're thinking to yourself, I'm pretty famished, as everyone normally says. What possibly could I do to quench my hunger? And you're going to get yourself a Chicago hot dog, right? I forget everything that's in it. I think it's just ketchup, mustard, relish, and an entire pickle. Now, step out of that for a second.
Is there a sausage in there?
Well, it's a hot dog. So, yeah. So, a hot dog. But then it also comes with a pickle. So, step out of that for a second, right? Like, that in itself, I don't like that. But, like, I feel like that is even removing itself further from being a sandwich, because it's like, I don't know, at least for me, like, I don't see many sandwiches that look like you're not supposed to eat it. And that's just kind of it. Like, I don't know. I feel like you look at a hot dog, right? It's not, I'm not going to see it and I'm going to go, that's a sandwich. I mean, I would say the same thing for, like, a burger. I wouldn't say a burger. I don't know. In my mind,
a burger, I had this conversation earlier. A burger is the most cut and dry sandwich. If a burger isn't a sandwich, then what is a sandwich?
I don't know. Like,
It's two pieces of bread, and it's got a burger in the middle. That looks like a sandwich.
Here, let's get philosophical for a second, right? Maybe it's just the societal norms of when you hear the word sandwich, right? In your brain, you're going to think of, like, cheese, maybe a deli meat of some sort, lettuce, 2 pieces of white bread. Not whole wheat, because that's awful. And if you eat that, well, you know, we all make mistakes. But that's what I'm going to think ordinarily, right? But if you were to say, like, if someone were to say, like, think of burger, I'm going to think of a burger. Right? Like, just, it's the wording of it, I think, for me, that mainly does it. Like, a hot dog, it's just going to be a hot dog. I'm never going to call it a sandwich, I think it would, you know? And say with a burger. Like, I've heard someone say that, like, this was actually a few years ago. I heard someone tell me that, like, a fried chicken sandwich was just a chicken burger, and that did not sit well with me. Like, it's just the constant, like, changing of the words. Like, it just doesn't bode well, is what I'm trying to say.
I mean, linguistically, a burger is beef, and it's interesting how it is a burger because it's from Hamburg, but Hamburg has just become burger, adding to things like a Impossible Burger. And I would say that's pretty true of that chicken sandwich, that it's just a chicken burger. Because it sure does look like a burger, and it's cooked like a burger. See, now you're
just saying that to piss me off. You're just saying that to piss me off.
Hey, man.
No, we have fun.
No cursing. This is a university podcast, bro.
No, we have fun here, but you outside the podcast, I'm pissed off. I'm not actually, but it's I don't know, like.
Also, wait, to go back to your Chicago point, I think most things done in Chicago are just adherent to God.
Okay, this is entirely different. Do you have a vendetta against Chicago?
I do have a vendetta against Chicago, but I will say all those things added to that Chicago hot dog make it more sandwich-like, because now it's not a 1-ingredient sandwich, it's a 4-ingredient sandwich.
I don't know. Like, if someone handed me an entire sandwich and it had a full pickle on it, I'd be a little upset.
It's like a dill pickle cut up, or at what?
Just like, no, like an entire, like an entire pickle. Like, it's cut.
Just straight out of the
just straight out of the jar.
They didn't cut it or anything?
No, and then they have, like, neon green relish, where it's like, it is questionable on whether or not it is edible.
Chicago's pretty sketchy with their sports. and the foods at the sporting events.
Oh.
So although that's a very sketchy sandwich, I would say that that makes it more of a sandwich, because pickles are pretty popular to have in sandwiches.
Well, thankfully, someone on our team is on my side on this, and thankfully, our dear scriptwriter Emily has given me some factual information that is science, and you can't dispute science. Like, legally, you can't.
The whole point of science is to dispute things.
So, anyways,
that's like a big pillar of it.
So, besides that point, according to the USDA, it classifies that hot dogs are separate from sandwiches in food regulations, and that's just science. So, really, like, if you're disagreeing with me, you're more so disagreeing with scientific inquiry rather, and scientific research that's proven quite the opposite.
I would ask you to provide what the control group and the hypothesis of the study that led to this discovery was, because that just seems to be how they just put their stuff together. And science is meant to be debated. That's a huge part of it. You can't have any proof in science without somebody disagreeing and trying to prove it wrong.
No. No. No, but okay, sure. Maybe this is becoming a science podcast now of just taking science information. But I mean, I don't know. You said earlier to me today, right, that you did take a poll, supposedly.
I did take a poll, and I didn't want to bring it up because they definitely did not vote in my favor. I have the poll here. It was answered by 18 different Westchester University rugby players, because they were just the easily available control group I had. 2 players agreed that a hot dog was a sandwich.
Out of 18?
Out of 18, one of them being myself.
You can't do that.
Well,
That's
I'm
not how
telling
that
you
works.
So
You can't do that.
I'm on the rugby team.
That is
Okay,
quite
out of
literally,
17 people,
there you go.
one person agreed with me that the hot dog was a sandwich. And then 14 people said, no, it is not a sandwich.
Okay, rightfully so.
And then 2 people picked the other explain reason. And their explanations were, the first one said, I feel like hot dog and hamburger are in their own lane.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Exactly.
So it's basically saying, no, it's not a sandwich. And then I asked the second person, hey, please elaborate so that I know what you mean by other. And she just said, it is a hot dog.
Yeah, no, yeah, I mean, albeit, it's not the best argument, but, like, if you were to ask me, like, is a hot dog a sandwich, I'd be like, no, and if you were to ask why, I'd be like, it's a hot dog. It's somehow the worst but best argument I think you can make.
Yeah.
Like, because...
Look at it, man. It's a sandwich, I think.
Yeah, it's... What, a hot dog's usually pork or beef? I forget.
It's the leftovers of pig.
Of
that's
pig.
all ground up and put into, like, the sausage shape. I have very little stakes in this argument because I don't like hot dogs. I don't eat hot dogs.
You know, and...
They gross me out.
And so what you're saying is that you hate me as well, is what you're saying.
No, I enjoy arguing.
No, but, like, if we're being real with ourselves, right? You know, like, you're saying, like, I'm trying to make such a beautiful argument about, you know, because clearly the people, there is research that you have collected yourself, almost like, I don't want to say poisoned, but like messed up because you voted for yourself.
If I didn't vote, I couldn't see the results.
Oh,
so
okay.
It was necessity.
We should have just had a third section that just says tie.
Oh, here's some more.
Oh?
Yeah, maybe I should have put a fourth section that just says tie, don't select this.
Tie.
But honestly, that would encourage them to select it just to mess with me.
Okay.
They went into the whole group chat went into a 20-minute debate over this, just arguing back and forth, which it devolved into a hoagies are not hoagies. That's a fake word. It's a sub called a sub, says the out-of-state players. And then the in-state players saying, you chose to go to school here, call it a hoagie. So looking up here, we've got the Merriam-Webster definition for a sandwich. which is 2 or more slices of bread.
No, hold on. There's no way you're doing the classic, like, you're giving a presentation. Webster's Dictionary defines, and they're just doing that.
You brought up the USDA, so I'm bringing up the Merriam-Webster.
But that was science.
Yeah, linguistics are also science.
Okay, go on.
You said you can't argue
No,
with
you're
science.
right.
2 or more slices of bread or a split roll having a filling in between.
Okay.
And that's definitely broad enough to include hot dogs. 2 slices of sandwich with a filling in between. The filling being a hot dog.
But it's 2 slices of bread, yes.
Yeah. So would you say 2 slices of bread as an argument here?
I think,
a
honestly,
hoagie is connected. Have you ever heard of sloppy joes?
Yeah.
Those are connected.
Yeah, but a sloppy joe I would say is a sandwich.
Yes. But just because the bread's connected doesn't deter it from being
I think
a sandwich.
I honestly
A split roll is one thing.
honestly, if we take it one step further, right? I honestly don't even think it's a matter of if the meat of the hot dog is a sandwich, because like when you first hear that, you're probably thinking of the hot dog part of a hot dog. I think really what it is a matter of solely talking about the bread. I think the breading of it, I don't know, in my opinion at least, I think is where the argument actually is. So that's saying that, like, you know, the definition that the hot dog is 2 slices of bread, right?
Or a split roll.
There's
plenty of other sandwiches that use a split roll, like sloppy joes or a hoagie.
Okay, let me ask you this then. So you're saying that a sub and a hoagie are both sandwiches, yes?
Yeah.
Yes?
Well, technically, a sub is a hoagie, so yeah.
So yes, you're saying that both.
They're a sandwich. Are you about to disagree with that?
I don't like this. I sense that I'm losing this argument somehow. I'm sensing that I'm losing my point. But
this is what happens when a production concentration and the strategic communication concentration get in a debate.
Yeah. But here's the thing: you're strategic at communicating. I'm just kind of sitting here. But I don't know. I think like, I'm trying to think, like, because I guess I have had, like, you know, not to, like, throw myself under the bus here, but, like, I've had, I guess, hot dogs where it's, like, yeah, it is, like, accidentally the hot dog bun ripped into 2, and then you have to work with that.
Yeah.
And it's still a hot dog. I don't know. I just think, like...
Do you know what a split roll is?
No. Not really.
The bun of a hot dog is a split roll.
Okay.
It is a roll of bread that is split but not all the way through. Like the same as a hoagie, a sub if you're not from southeastern Pennsylvania, or a sloppy joe sandwich.
Okay.
At least how I make mine. My sloppy doughs.
I guess then, I don't know. I guess then it comes to like... Because even, okay, just to humor the idea, not saying this is true because it's not, but just to humor the idea that a hot dog is a sandwich. If that was factually correct, right? Like, how come there's still so many people then that are saying, well, no, it's not?
Oh, because it could never be a factually correct statement because it's a very opinionated thing and you can't prove it.
I'm back in.
Yeah.
I'm back in. You said it is not a factually correct
because
statement.
we have the Merriam-Webster dictionary definition that says that, yes, it agrees with me, and then you have the USDA that agrees with you.
Yeah.
So there are, legitimate organizations that have, conflicting opinions. Now, the USDA is wrong. I'm correct. The USDA bans one of my favorite dishes in the United States.
Hot dog. It bans the hot dog.
No, I don't. I told you I don't like hot dogs. No,
I know.
One of my favorite dishes, haggis, is banned by the USDA. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, you can only have it under very specific circumstances that you have to follow very, very strictly. But traditional, you can't.
Maybe we should get the USDA on this podcast and debate and have friendly debate in whether or not they should bring back haggis.
They'll never agree with that. They have made it so that you can have it, but it's strictly relegated or regulated.
Regulated. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. we've mentioned a lot, right?
Yeah.
I find myself agreeing with you more, but not fully there because I don't know.
I think you're just wrong if you disagree with me.
So that's not what I said, and I want you to take it back, actually.
No. But I've got another point for us to bring up, if I'm not interrupting you too much.
No, go on. Go on.
Along with the poll that I did and, some of those players expressing their opinions afterwards, which I did not interfere, I just let it happen. Somebody said, should be said in full caps, a hot dog doesn't need a bun to be eaten. A sandwich, you need bread to put it all together. I disagree.
I'm not kidding. I didn't even think about that. That is revolutionary.
Well, I dare say, I've seen people eat a sandwich without the bread. I've seen people take the bread off the sandwich and eat it.
Okay, that's not a sandwich.
Yeah, but somebody later said that and said that that's just a salad.
Well, that's the thing. Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
How am I doing your side of the debate better then?
Because my argument is literally just, you're wrong, actually.
And then, that player in our little miniature study said you don't need a bun to eat a hot dog. I don't think I would ever eat a hot dog without a bun. Something needs to hide that awful food from me so I can stomach it.
Okay, here's my thing then. Would a hot dog then, because how different is it from like a sausage? So at that point, would it just be a sausage or would it still be a hot dog is the thing? Well,
I'm pretty sure a hot dog is a type of sausage. The same way that American cheese is a type of cheese. Yeah, it's kind of weird and really processed, but it's still...
But it's like in the same line
vein.
of sausage. Okay.
It's just a really out there of all of them.
Do you think, if we were able to get this podcast trending enough and if we were able to pull enough money, do you think we could get the Oscar Mayer car?
Oh, that would be incredible. Movie? I'm so glad you brought up Oscar Mayer.
Why?
Because
why?
No.
Now I'm curious.
In 2018, the Frankfurter company Oscar Mayer told Today News that a hot dog is a sandwich.
Well, I'm gonna relay back to what you said earlier, that sometimes science is wrong, and sometimes, honestly, if anything, this might be a lesson on how the internet sometimes doesn't always tell the truth. And maybe Oscar Mayer, one day he woke up and he wanted to choose, being evil, right? Maybe he just decided that.
How dare you say that he's evil?
I'm not saying, hey, this is all hypothetical. Really.
Okay, hypothetical.
This is all hypothetical. One day he woke up and he said, you know what, I'm going to say things I'm going to say something that pertains to my company, that is going to change the entire course of the hot dog industry. Because now that I think about it, going back to it, again, would I eat a hot dog without the bun? No. But, the hot dog, I just see you just staring like that.
No, because I have another argument that I'm just so excited to bring up to you once we're done with this section of it.
Sure, but because you would say a hot dog and a bun, right? So the bread is implying that that's the bun. You wouldn't say that the combination of the two is the hot dog itself. You would say that the meat of it is the hot dog.
If I asked you if you wanted a hot dog and I gave you a hot dog without a bun, you'd look at me like I was crazy, dude.
I would no, I wouldn't. I would just be mildly upset because I know you could do better. Because I know because I know.
Because when you ask for a hot dog, you expect it. If I went to a Phillies game, a much better city to go to a baseball game.
Absolutely agree.
I love going to Phillies game. Dollar Dog Night. Let's go. And I go and I get my dollar dogs at the Phillies game, and they don't give me a bun with the hot dog. I'm gonna have some issues.
Sure. Yeah, no, I get that. But, going back to if you were to give me a hot dog, right? If anybody, honestly, were to give me, a hot dog, well, they have, isn't this a thing, a hot dog on a stick or something where it literally is just, I swear I've heard of this before. This might be completely made up, but I'm going with it.
New question. Is a corn dog a sandwich?
No.
Yeah, you're right. It's a burrito. It's encased.
Exactly. You're distracting me. Stop. No. Yeah, so, like, I don't know. I just feel, I would be mildly upset if you were to hand me a hot dog, because I'd probably be like, hey, buddy, listen, right? You know you're doing this just to pull my leg, right? You know you'd be doing that. So, but in my mind, right, I think the product of it is the all beef hot dog, or the all pork hot dog, or whatever hot dog you just decide to get. Like, when you're getting a packet, if you're going to Acme or Giant or wherever, going to a grocery store, you're getting hot dogs, right? It doesn't come already in the bun.
Yes, because the storage of bread and meat is very different requirements.
So that's that's my point.
And
I was just about to get to that, and I thank you for telling me that, because I definitely was going to get to that point. But continue.
Like, you can't... Hold on. If you were to make a lasagna, would you argue that the sauce and the pasta are different, and it together, like, it's not? Because you got to put those together to make the lasagna. For a hot dog, it's expected that it's going to have a bun. And if you store meat the way you would store bread, you're going to get food poisoning.
That's
fair.
And
if you store bread the way you would meat, you're going to get frozen bread.
Okay, well, now I'm going to sidetrack a bit, because now I'm curious about the lasagna thing. I haven't eaten today, so I'm very hungry. But, so what you're saying is, right, are you saying that, because what was your point again? You were saying that, like, you wouldn't call the separate ingredients of lasagna. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you're saying that you're separating the hot dog from the bun. So I said the pasta is, lasagna pasta. But if you asked for lasagna, and I said, yeah, I have some lasagna, and I gave you, like, uncooked lasagna pasta, you would not be happy with me, because you're expecting a lasagna with the sauce and the meat and all put together.
I mean, would I have to cook it? Yes. Would I have to not live in a dorm room so that I could have access to a kitchen?
You can use my kitchen.
Okay, well, I'm going to go to your house, right? And you pass me those lasagna well, that's the thing, is that they're not individually called lasagna. They're called, like, noodles.
Those are not noodles. They're flat.
Well, they're called
it's
lasagna
pasta.
Noodles, but...
It's pasta.
Okay, so it's pasta, then.
Lasagna pasta.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's... Okay, is it more so... is it the raw ingredient of it? Is it more so lasagna, or is it more so pasta?
Pasta, I'd say.
Bam. That's what I like to hear. So there you go then. So, okay, if we were to call it a hot dog sandwich, right? If that's what we
hot
were
dog for sure, surely.
You're just saying this. You're just saying this just to cause conflict on this family friendly.
I'm not the one that cursed. Anyway,
I didn't even curse.
Tell me when you want to hear my other argument.
I'm ready.
You're ready? Okay, so some context question. Do you trust Ruth Bader Ginsburg as a source? Former Supreme Court Judge Ruth Bader Ginsburg, a pioneer.
What could you possibly be talking about next? Keep in mind, I just want you to know this, just so you're aware. Mm-hmm. You're going from hot dog to Ruth
it's related.
Ginsburg.
It's related, I promise.
Okay.
In 2018, on the late night show with Stephen Colbert, RBG said that a hot dog is a sandwich.
Okay. Okay. How about this? What if I were to pull up a source that said, what if I had a direct quote from Oprah Winfrey that talked about lasagna? Like, okay. That's not. It's.
I would ask you: is Oprah Winfrey a former Supreme Court judge who went to law school and is a pioneer in women's rights?
Maybe in a past life, we don't know. I'm just saying the quote. I'm acknowledging it. Right?
Yeah.
That is a quote that has been spoken into existence. That is something that exists. But it's not changing the, like, course of it, really. It's not changing the argument. It's just somebody who is a public figure, right?
She's a professional. She's a lawyer. Well, she was a lawyer. Rest in peace.
It's still, though, but it's like, I don't know. Did that source, like, did she give an entire debate? Did she hop on a podcast with a microphone, with headphones, with 2 team members and 2 cameras? And did she have a multi-minute debate about the hot dog? Or was it just her saying that?
So Stephen Colbert asked her about it. And she asked a lot of follow-up questions.
Okay.
Does it include a roll that's cut open but not completely? Which we already discussed about 2 slices of bread versus split roll.
Sure.
And eventually she got down, I guess immediately to the question, does the roll need to be separated in 2 parts? And then Colbert asked her, so then a hot dog is also a sandwich? And she says, on your definition, yes it is, for Colbert's definition of a sandwich.
Uh-huh.
So I've got Ruth Bader Ginsburg on my side. I've got the Oscar Mayer Corporation on my side, and also the Merriam-Webster Dictionary.
Well, really, I think what it matters at the end of today is what's going to matter is if you have the viewer's side is really what matters.
Yeah,
because quite frankly, I'm thinking that even with my lack of an argument, of any argument, really, I still think I've got the people on my side. I'm speaking on behalf of the people here that a hot dog is not a sandwich. Even if you have the entire Oscar Mayer Corporation who does make hot dogs say that it is a sandwich.
Yeah. Already, I think you might have the viewers too, but hopefully my argument has swayed some people to my side. We'll have to get the viewers to answer this question and give us who agrees with who. But if the preliminary poll to that group of rugby players says anything, that I might be having a good argument with you right now, but I might.
That's the one sole vote that said yes.
The one sole vote. Shout out to Charlotte. Let's go.
Well, I do want to bring up just one quick last point. So, okay, again, going back to the quite honestly crazy hypothetical, like just downright disturbing hypothetical that a hot dog ends up being a sandwich. I wouldn't even want to humor that idea. But
well, you're humoring it because we're here.
Well, I'm not laughing.
You were laughing earlier.
Because you're my friend, and I laugh at your jokes. Because you're funny.
I thought you were going to say you laugh at me.
Because I love making fun. God.
You just laughed.
Okay, well, any case, so if you're saying that that the hot dog is a sandwich, all right, like earlier, a few moments ago, you said that you would appreciate it if the abbreviated statement of saying a hot dog sandwich is just a hot dog. Wouldn't you want to own up to the fact that if it is a sandwich, you got to give it the full thing, like a hot dog sandwich?
Do you call it a hoagie sandwich?
I have heard many people call it that. Are they insane? Yes, but that's besides the point.
Now you're making a quick definition there. I don't think you're a psychologist, and you can make that statement.
I don't, but
well,
no.
Because who says hot dog sandwich? That's just a whole lot of words. When hot dog, people understand what you mean when you say hot dog.
Okay, if I said meatball sub, and if I just said meatball, would you get what I'm saying?
Well, because meatballs are usually eaten by themselves. A hot dog, if you eat a hot dog just by itself, you're weird. Or you ran out of hot dog buns.
Well,
when I run out of hot dog buns...
I don't want to eat meatballs by themselves unless it is accompanied with some grain, which is either spaghetti or
spaghetti?
Bread. Yeah, spaghetti or bread, right? So
I thought you were Italian. You're saying you eat meatballs with pasta or with spaghetti?
I will say.
Recently, my Italian professor told me you will never see that in Italy, so don't even bother asking for spaghettis and meatballs.
do they just only eat meatballs?
I think they eat them separately.
Okay, so
They
maybe
say that that's a Tal-American food.
I will say, when I did live at home, my dad, for some reason, loved to just get a tub of Wawa meatballs. And that's it. I don't like that he did that, and it makes me a little upset. But he would just buy he would ask for a tub of meatballs. And I listen. I'm just as disappointed as you are. He's not gonna watch this, but he would just buy that.
I'm gonna mail a physical copy of this to your house.
You're gonna get this on what, like DVD,
and I'm gonna write
DVD
Mr. Guilday. Mr. Guilday, listen to this.
You're gonna get this on DVD and Blu-ray and just saying like, Mr. Gilday, you need.
It's gonna come in a sketchy like sound recorder thing.
Well, no, hang on. No, hang on. Listen. I don't like it. I think we can all agree. That was a little bit insane of him to just go to Wawa and get nothing but a tub of meatballs.
I want to go back to talking about hot dogs, actually. I don't want to talk about your dad's meatballs anymore.
I'm sorry. I'll stop this. Well,
that's crazy.
I don't know why, but he just would do that. And he's just like, yep, that's dinner. That was dinner for him. And I'm like, all right.
I think the only time I ate meatballs by themselves is when I made meatballs for a class project, and then I was not also gonna bring in pasta.
Was this this sounds like an elementary school?
No, it was a high school.
Oh, okay.
It was sophomore year because I had a concussion. I remember it. And we each got, in history class, we got assigned a country. We had to make a food from that country. I got Norway, so I made Swedish meatballs, of course.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I brought them in, and I was not also going to bring in pasta because my country was Norway.
Okay. Yeah, this is very off track, but a small side thing of, because we definitely, I think my brother might have, I don't remember doing it, but in elementary school, we had to do the same thing, but it was in individual U.S. states. And I don't know. I feel like, because it was elementary school, I think. It was like, I don't know. Like, I don't think, like, at that age, like, many kids are capable of making, like, he had, like, I think he had,
If I got Pennsylvania, I would have done a hoagie.
You would have done a cheesesteak, is what you would have done.
Oh, yeah, but the western half of PA doesn't matter much, so yeah, that's a good one.
And if I lived in
Eastern, I meant Western.
And if I had gotten any of the states, I would have made a hot dog, because I'm
America's sandwich.
American. So you interrupted me, right? You interrupted me. You had me in the first half, quite literally, of saying American, but then you said sandwich, and I don't.
It's America's sandwich the same way that baseball is America's pastime.
You know what? I'm willing to set this aside for now to get the viewers' POV of this, right, perspective, if you are. We need to shake on it, though. Just, you...
Yeah, it was you.
That I apologize. Okay, you know what? We might have not figured out who was right in this, but we were able to make amends. And honestly, I think that's more of a beautiful story than could ever be made on a podcast. But
we're still friends. We'll see for next week.
Exactly. So I think that's where we're going to wrap up this first episode of Bleat This. Let us know in the comments. I believe this is going up on YouTube. I believe it's also going up on Spotify, but only audio. But if you want to see the video version, that'll be available on YouTube. So yeah, leave a comment below of who you think had the better argument in this debate.
Yeah, give us who you think had the better argument, and then also give us who you agree with, just in case they're different.
Do you agree with me, Ty, or Ruth Bader Ginsburg? You pick one.
You pick one.
You only get one.
Yeah.
But
you only get one. So again, I say a hot dog is a sandwich.
And I say that it is not a sandwich. So
tell us in the comments who do you think is correct and who you agree with and all.
Exactly.
Thank you all for listening.
That's us signing on. Have a good one.